From the Associated Press, this is an Election 2024 update. Live from Washington, here is Meg Kennard.
Welcome back. Here are the latest updates on AP race calls. Moments ago, the Associated Press declared Donald Trump the winner of the following states: Idaho, Iowa, and Kansas. AP has also declared Kamala Harris the winner of the states of California, Washington State, and Maine's 1st congressional district. A reminder that Maine is one of those states that allocates electoral votes on a statewide basis as well as by congressional district. You can track all of these updates on our live voting map next to me, with areas popping up in blue and red. It's 11 p.m., so that also means that polls are closing on the West Coast. That includes California, that major electoral vote prize we just mentioned, with 54. Polls are also closed in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington State. So at this hour, that means that all polls have closed in the continental United States. Joining me to break all of this down is Sagar Magani. Hello.
Hello, Meg.
So California is one of these major electoral vote hauls that we've been talking about. Now it's been awarded to Kamala Harris. Is this a surprise?
Not a surprise.
You keep telling me that these are not surprises.
I wish I had something other than that to tell you. But for starters, she's from California.
True.
California is always heavily Democrat. 54 electoral votes is quite a lot to add to that total now, 214 to 179. For so long, there's been a huge disparity between there, especially after Donald Trump won Ohio and he won Texas with their big hauls. The hauls we have not yet gotten, we have to go back to the early hours of the show, those 7 battleground states.
Right.
None of them have been called, from Georgia heading out to Nevada.
So all these states, you're still telling me we don't have calls there.
All of that is purple there. They're neither red nor blue on the other maps. So that's what everyone is still waiting on.
Right. And as we keep saying, these are the spots that the margins are anticipated to be so close. And so we're thinking that's going to take longer and longer and go into the night.
The vote will take a good while.
When we think about the other races that are happening tonight, not just the presidential contest, but those down ballot races in the House and Senate that we're also following here at the AP, I know that there have been a few moments of history that have been happening tonight. Give us an update on that.
Yeah, we could get a history if Kamala Harris does win the presidency. Of course, she would be the first black woman elected to the White House. She was already the second black woman elected to the Senate, only the second. Today alone, 2 more have been elected. You have Angela Brooks in Maryland, Elisa Rochester in Delaware, which also made more history, 2 for 1. Sarah McBride has been elected to the House. She becomes the first openly transgender member of the U.S. Congress. So some more diversity coming into the ranks on Capitol Hill.
Always good to get an update on the other races that we are following at the AP, not just the presidential contest. So thank you for that. We will be back with you in a moment with more AP race calls and election night updates. As a reminder, like we were just talking about, AP has a lot more information on some of the other contests that we are following on our website, apnews.com. There you can also find continually updated live blogs from all of these contests. Back with you soon.
one was the biggest show of life. So I think about the farm work that's the issue and saying that the reason why 19 or the largest of the battle crops in the South. 72% of the year, there's a lot of those. This is what happens. This was when the Joe Biden that was 2020. So just watching that. But here's what I was saying. Just want to bring this up. The stakes of the Harris getting right now. It's the county of North Carolina is higher. You won this in 2016. You lost by 11,000 votes. Not at all inconceivable. History, everyone looks at number 5. Okay. Why did she not use that? Because 251. Look, the rest of them wouldn't matter. I don't mean your votes don't matter. In the states, in terms of the cap for 270. If he holds those leads he has right now in those 2 states, which are healthy leads, he cannot afford to lose that.
I want to stick in Pennsylvania.
Scheduled 11:55 p.m. That will be
The best city.
Okay, what do you learn? So narrowing that number down any further.
It's the only area we're allowed to be working with it.
But it will be 10,000 of mail ballots that will be posted at 11:55 just before midnight, adding to the first batch ended up being 152 counting mail ballots.
Then the next batch, the second batch of mail ballots that getting
loaded. And talk about 11:55 p.m. That will be 50,000 voted. And the ballots are still working headed. So narrowing that number down any further. At the time, so they can do it. But if you mail out 1,011 ballots, you're getting quite a close to at 11:55. Just adding to the first batch, ended up being 15,000 mail ballots, which is just narrowing the universe of what's outstanding. Getting talking about once you get that 50% of the 50% of vote in, then you can really start seeing where things are headed.
This past year has seen a remarkable amount of incumbents all around the world, up and down the ticket. People are not really sure what party to join. They lost everything because it was just throw the button type election. Kamala Harris is basically way down by the Biden administration. She's still going to come with something that she would change, and I think people are reacting to that. You have a state like Ohio where sure that was able to hang on basically for quite some time. And sometimes the migration of this kind of party to
That's approximately 186,000 mail out to 802. And you know, by law, you gave all that to the results for it. Just the provincial ballot sworn in on Friday. But he was a great candidate for that. He hung in there.
This issue of energy security, it's going to be interesting to see how this continues to play out in Pennsylvania this evening. Ohio, Pennsylvania, both, and even Montana, where energy is a big, big issue. Eastern Democrats, they bring up the
looking at Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, so there are similar issues and stuff like that.
The answers are resounding, unfortunately for me, yes. You can begin to see where that crack could come, if not right now, a full collapse.
From the Associated Press, this is an Election 2024 update. Live from Washington, here is Meg Kennard.
Welcome back. The Associated Press has declared Donald Trump the winner of the state of North Carolina. This is the first of our battleground race calls that we are bringing to you this evening. Joining me to break this down is Sagar Magani. Sagar, we've been saying all night we were waiting for these battleground calls to come in. This is the first one. What are we seeing in North Carolina?
Yeah, North Carolina traditionally does a fairly quick job counting its votes. So the first of those 7 states and those 16 electoral votes now going into the Trump map. He has spent a lot of time there. He was just there in the days leading up to the election there after the hurricanes, reassuring people. This is the 3rd straight time he has now won North Carolina, 2016, 2020. Both of those are by slim margins, 1.3% in his win over Joe Biden 4 years ago. The margin at this point doesn't matter. Those 16 electoral votes go into his column. He can now mark one of those battleground states off. We're still waiting on all the other ones, from Georgia to Pennsylvania to Arizona. 6 still to go. They, again, we've said this time and again, but it's just the way it is. They will determine what happens, who gets to 270 first.
Absolutely. We have the first one of those battleground calls. We will be on the lookout for more. Thank you so much. And thank you all. Again, we will be bringing you more AP race calls as they come into us. Back soon.
From the Associated Press, this is an Election 2024 update. Live from Washington, here is Meg Kennard.
We are back to bring you some new AP race call updates. The Associated Press has declared Kamala Harris the winner in 2 states, Oregon and New Mexico. We also have several U.S. Senate calls. The AP has declared Democrat Adam Schiff the winner of the U.S. Senate contest in the state of California. AP has also declared Republican Bernie Moreno winner of the U.S. Senate race in Ohio. So, as a reminder, back to the presidential race, the live voting map is here next to me. The update on the electoral vote totals: 230 for Republican Donald Trump, 192 for Democrat Kamala Harris. Back with me, as always, is Sagar Meghani. So, Sagar, just to go back to our last update, we have North Carolina, that one battleground that's been called for Republican Donald Trump. Still the 6 battlegrounds outstanding. These other 2 calls that we just had for Kamala Harris, more of the expected blue states that we were thinking.
More of the same from earlier. North Carolina, of course, not unexpected for the Republican nominee to win in North Carolina. You had Barack Obama in 2008. You had Jimmy Carter in 1976. That's really about it for 2 generations of Democrats, but still 16 electoral votes, the first of the battlegrounds that Donald Trump can now claim, looking ahead to those other 6.
What about these Senate calls where we've had winners declared in California and Ohio? Where did these races kind of put us in all that?
This is what Democrats feared. They saw Sherrod Brown, the 3-term senator, as one of the most endangered of them. Keep in mind, a 51-49 Democratic lead in the Senate going into today. That is now, at this moment, 51-49 for the Republicans after you had Jim Justice win a seat in West Virginia. Angela Alsobrooks won in Maryland, but there are still a few more outstanding. John Tester in Montana, Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, 2 Democrats trying to hold on to their seats. The Democrats' best hope right now: can Colin Aldred strip Ted Cruz of his GOP seat in Texas and make this a split chamber once again?
Definitely. Thank you so much. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll have more AP race calls coming your way and election night updates. For now, we will leave you with these live pictures of vote counting as it takes place out in Colorado. Back with you soon.
states.
From the Associated Press, this is an Election 2024 update. Live from Washington, here is Meg Kennard.
Welcome back. We are back to bring you some new AP race call updates. The Associated Press has declared Democrat Kamala Harris the winner of the states of Virginia and Hawaii. AP has also made determinations in 3 U.S. Senate contests, all of which have resulted in incumbents keeping their seats. They are Republican Ted Cruz in Texas, Democrat Mazie Hirono in Hawaii, and Democrat Amy Klobuchar in Minnesota. Back to the presidential race. Again, you can take a look at the live voting map in the screen next to me, with the electoral vote totals now updated to 230 for Donald Trump and 205 for Kamala Harris. We will continue to bring you more AP race calls and election night updates throughout this evening. But for now, we will leave you with a live look at vote counting as it takes place in one of those battleground states, Wisconsin. Back with you soon.
From the Associated Press, this is an Election 2024 update. Live from Washington, here is Meg Kennard.
We're back with you with breaking news with this alert that just moved on the AP wire. Republicans have won a U.S. Senate majority, seizing control of the chamber for the first time in 4 years. They were put over that mark after the AP declared Deb Fischer the winner of the U.S. Senate contest in the state of Nebraska. Again, this is an AP News alert that has just moved. We will be back with you with more information on other race calls and other updates on this election night. See you soon.
Start the game already. Start the game already.
Yes.
Start the game already. Start the game already. Start the game already.
Yes. Yes.
Rogan, Isa, Zokontal, Donna, Omus, Glory, Omus. Yuri. Ha! Yes, 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 no, yes, no, yes. Somebody pass the wood. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes,
不打了，
yes.
拜拜。
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. ISO. Caloric. ISO. Donna E. Ice. Thomas. Thomas. Oklahoma. Donna E. Zokontal. Thomas. All of my ISO. All ISO. Oklahoma. Thomas. Thomas. Evil. Donna E. Thomas. Glory. Donna E. Thomas. Oklahoma. Glory. Alma. Zokontal. Alma. Zokontal. Alma. Zokontal. Zokontal. Iwartano. Holmes. Yuri. Rogan. Yuri. Almost. 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 Get out. Get out.
From the Associated Press, this is an Election 2024 update. Live from Washington, here is Meg Kennard.
Welcome back. This is a breaking alert that has just moved on the AP wire. The Associated Press has called the battleground state of Georgia for Republican Donald Trump. That adds another 16 electoral votes to the Republicans' total. It's also the second of the 7 battleground states that AP has called tonight for Trump. The other 5 remain outstanding at this hour and are too early to call. As you can see on the live voting map next to me, that brings Donald Trump's electoral vote total to 246 and Kamala Harris to 210. Back with me as he is is all night is Sagar Magani. Okay, Sagar, we've got our second of these battleground calls. What are you telegraphing in this? What do we see?
Well, when you look at that number, 246 for Donald Trump, that puts him 24 electoral votes away from being declared the winner of this race. When you look at Pennsylvania with 19 and some of these other battlegrounds that you mentioned, he is easing toward that. The Harris campaign had said just before we called this race that there are too many races too close to call, all the votes have to be counted, and that the vice president herself would not be speaking at their victory rally / party event tonight at Howard University here in Washington, her alma mater. So the mood clearly dispirited there as people began just flooding out of that.
Yeah, we
Howard
saw that
gates.
in our live pictures here.
Just
with people just
flocking
leaving,
away
yeah.
from there once they were told that the vice president would not be appearing. So a dour mood among Democrats, but a whole lot of happy people at Mar-a-Lago, where Donald Trump is supposed to address his supporters.
Right, and we will keep our eyes on our images coming in from all of his supporters gathered. Thank you for that, and we will bring you more AP race calls and election night updates as this evening goes on. Thank you, and stay tuned.
You've been like looking and not looking this evening.
That's the only one you made. It's good.
Let's go check on Pennsylvania one more.
$8 years ago? Why not, right? In Nevada, I don't know what this number is. We'll find out together, okay? So Hillary Clinton did 2 points better than Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden, okay, did even better, 3.5 over what Kamala Harris is putting up right now. So it appears if you're in the Trump camp, that's a pretty good number right now, just shy of 51%. In Nevada early on. Here's Karl Rove's favorite place in the world. This is Washoe County, right, Karl? Right now, it's close, right? 0.2 points. What happened with Biden? Was it close? Yeah, pretty close. But Biden won the county. So in all likelihood, Trump's got a chance to flip this if it holds up right now. Super slim and more vote to come in. But Nevada is looking good too. And now you start to wonder, how high does this number go on the Electoral College?
Yeah, New York Times needle is now at greater than 95% and likely to win the popular vote is what they have. Well, let's check in. Let's go out to Vegas. Jeff Paul is live in Las Vegas. Jeff, what's happening?
Well, a lot of excitement here and optimism at the Sam Brown watch party. He is, of course, the Republican candidate trying to unseat the Democratic incumbent Senator Jackie Rosen. And just a few moments ago when Bill was talking about Nevada, you heard a lot of cheers here from the crowd at the Sam Brown watch party, just knowing some of those initial numbers. It took nearly 3 hours to finally get some of those numbers. We're hoping to get another batch in the coming hours, but Nevada has an interesting law where it's, you can vote right up until the 7 o'clock hour, and if you're in line, they'll let you vote. And in order to release those results, they wait until the very last person in line votes. That person, it took 2 hours and 48 minutes, so still a very long night ahead of us. But for the folks here at the Sam Brown Watch Party, a lot of optimism in the air.
All right, Jeff Paul in Las Vegas. Jeff, thanks.
So our panel is still with us, and we have some new folks that are here as well. Kevin McCarthy is joining us. Karl Rove is back. Juan Williams is here. Great to have all of you with us. Kevin McCarthy, let me start with you. Give us an update on what your overall take on the night so far, and then maybe drill down on some of what you're seeing in these House situations as well.
The Senate Republicans did an extraordinary job. They surpassed all expectations. President Trump is on his way, and I think President Trump is going to help the Republicans hold the House, but it's going to be very narrow, maybe even narrower than we have now.
But you think they could do it?
Maybe even narrower than you have now, you said.
Yeah, it may be exactly the same or maybe smaller. Look at the 2 seats I said at the very beginning of the night. Watch Pennsylvania 7 and Pennsylvania 8. I think we're going to pick those both up. You said North Carolina 1. We're probably going to lose that by 1 point. She did an extraordinary job.
Wow.
Then you look at Maine. We're ahead there. But we have some incumbents that have fallen in New York. California's just in now, but don't read those numbers yet, because it's just the first part coming in. We're going to have to wait some time to see where we're there. Arizona, we've got a couple of incumbents in trouble. Bacon's coming back in Omaha, maybe there. If we hold the House, if this is a trifecta, the credit goes to President Trump. But it also fundamentally means something different. You can do reconciliation when it comes to tax reform. So you don't need 60 votes in the Senate. Having the Senate as large as he is, he's going to get the cabinet that he wants. The other thing that's going to happen is you're not going to have a Hakeem Jeffries that's going to try to impeach him every single week. So America's going to see ability to govern. And if Republicans take this moment in time to not play games and focus on the issues, they can grow it the next time. Otherwise, it's going to be very competitive in 2 years.
But Juan Williams, if it's as big as we think it could be, we obviously haven't made these calls yet, but it's trending that way, and the pathway for her to win is getting narrower and narrower. Isn't it not a mandate? And Hakeem Jeffries and the thought of impeaching with what we're seeing tonight seems like wouldn't be the right move.
Well, I think the Democrats are, well, dispirited at this moment, and I think that the likelihood, as we pointed out, is that Trump will be the president. And I think that, for me, talking to people like Darren and political professionals around, no one anticipated the size of this mandate, as you call it. I think that there is even recriminations now among Democrats as to Biden and whether Biden should have dropped out earlier or Biden should have stayed. Would a white male have done better? Obviously, Trump has defeated 2 women and now a black woman. So there's all of these questions. But to my mind, it seems to me incredible that a guy who led a insurrection against the United States government is potentially now, like a phoenix, going back into the Oval Office. It's unbelievable.
Well, you have to consider the fact, Juan, that a lot of people didn't think that was an insurrection. They thought it was a riot, but not an insurrection. And had they thought it was really an insurrection, I don't think he could have won.
Well, I don't know.
The exaggerations about that day.
Well, I'm not exaggerating.
About the alleged threat to democracy is a piece of what happened tonight.
Well, I don't think so. I think, again, I'm giving you my perspective.
And I'm giving you mine.
Right, so I listened to you as my friend. But I'm going to tell you what I saw was not only a riot in terms of the violence, but a direct action intended to stop certification of a presidential election.
Understood. And we've talked a lot about it.
That's why I said that.
And we've
that's
talked a lot about it. And the campaign,
very clearly. I'm not trying to hype anything.
The campaign ran a lot of ads about it, talked a lot about it, and more, half the country now, Juan, is going to say, that is not what I care about. I care about my economy. I care about immigration.
No, see, that's where we differ. I'm not sold on this idea that, it was the cost of eggs. I worry that it was, I'm not voting for this woman, or I'm not voting for this black woman.
No, that's not what we see in our data.
Well, here's the thing. Where do you see that? Because a moment ago, Darren was out here and he said, in fact, not only did the bro strategy work, and the bro strategy largely worked along the lines of white men, but that the bro strategy also had some impact in terms of Latino and black men who came along and gave higher percentages.
All right, Carl, weigh in.
I just want to make one more point with Juan. I spoke to Jack Brewer this week, and here's what he said if Trump wins. He said he won because black men felt that Democrats and elites put immigrants before us. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on that?
I just think that that's possible. I don't know that for a fact. I think there are tensions between racial groups, and people might feel that. Obviously, you can exploit those tensions, and you can exacerbate them to the point where you can politically benefit from it. Do I think that's the reason he won? No. I think the reason he won is you look at that bro strategy and the white male turnout and white grievance politics that he has used to great success in this country.
I think he's trailing his prior 2020 numbers with whites.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I think that the bros,
Hispanics and black males.
Yeah.
It's not sufficient to make up. It's not sufficient to have this kind of night.
Look, I just think it is extremely odd to suggest that black men are somehow prejudiced because they vote for a white candidate who says, I want to make certain that everybody has an opportunity to succeed in our great economy. I want you to be more prosperous, and I will do things that will make it possible for you to make a better life. That is an appeal to their best instincts. He did not go out and say, vote for me because I'm not a woman. Don't go vote for me because I'm a white man. That would not have attracted those votes. They got attracted to him because they thought he was a strong, effective leader, and they thought he would do something about the issues they cared the most about, which is an economy in which they think they get the short stick, inflation, which has decimated their purchasing power, and illegal immigration, which has affected their communities deeply. And to suggest that somehow black men are racist because they supported a white man is just too far, Juan.
You're distorting my comments, but let me just say to you,
I followed your comment to its logical conclusion.
Hold on. We're not saying most black men did not vote for Donald Trump. So I never said anything like that. That's just not true.
Oh, you suggested it's only a quarter of black men.
I'm saying to you that in terms of this bro strategy for white males, the whole notion of I'm bad, I talk about women in the most disparaging way, there's some men who just said, you know what, I want to be in on that. I want to be a badass guy. And I think they like Trump's image and the caricature he portrays.
I think they supported him in spite of that, not because of it.
Harold Ford Jr.
Because we offered to make their life better.
Harold Ford Jr.
Look, I tend to agree with Juan about January 6th. I'm surprised by the fact that the country got over that as quickly as we seemingly did, which speaks to the political comeback. I've said here earlier, I think that the fact that some of these issues around the economy and the border were not addressed more forthrightly, I think had an impact. That being said, we're going to have some analysis around this and around whether or not the driving up support amongst men, what was behind that, how did it work, did the gender gap with women, did black women, white women, Hispanic women? We still don't know those numbers. We'll have an opportunity to dig into some of those things, but I don't interpret what Juan is saying any more than that.
All right, more to talk about here.
There's a lot more coming up as election night moves on at 1:15 on the East Coast. We continue to get more vote in. We will be able to make some calls when that vote is in full. Our coverage continues next. Stay with us.
Starting at 5 a.m., Lawrence, Steve, Ainsley, and Brian bring us.
The reviews are in. First things first is a hit. I'll go first. I watch every day. I love how insightful Chris and Nick are. Nick and Chris are great. My man. Drew, ha-ha. Which is like a pun. You guys write these? What's wrong with them? Nick is right. Oh, wow.
Nick, Drew, and Wild serve up a fresh daily dose of unscripted and unfiltered sports talk.
That one could be about me.
First things first, weekdays at 3 Eastern on FS1.
Light it up!
TV's biggest game show is back, and it's even bigger.
This is not the same floor.
Now with 100 players battling for territory.
Let's go!
The Floor, only Wednesdays on Fox, and watch anytime on Hulu.
Sunday, it's a huge day of football on Fox.
Let's go!
It all kicks off with a special Veterans Day pregame show, live from Naval Base San Diego. Then, Brock Purdy and the Niners.
What a play!
Take on Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
Oh, my goodness!
Or it's Titans, Chargers. It all begins at 11 a.m. Eastern with a Veterans Day pregame show on Fox, home of Super Bowl 59.
You want to be a lifeguard? This is the real deal.
Rescue High Surf is the hottest drama on TV.
This is a job you have to put your heart into. You fight and never give up.
And you can watch it anytime.
Welcome to the North Shore.
And every Monday,
Watch it, Junior.
it's all new action.
You gotta work hard and you gotta play hard.
All new adventure.
It's too dangerous.
We're going in.
All new episodes.
That's all every day is work.
Rescue High Surf. All new Mondays on Fox and anytime on Hulu.
All right, I'm gonna change your world. Yeah. I love to root for great. Ooh. You want to root for the underdog? Good luck with that. It doesn't matter how many times I'm right, you'll still argue with me. This is The Herd.
The stage is set.
Here we go, season 12! You can say.
The Masked Singer. All new Wednesdays on Fox or watch anytime on Hulu. It's Fox College Football Friday. Breakout star and Big Ten rushing leader, Caleb Johnson leads Iowa.
My goodness!
Against UCLA. It all kicks off at 9 Eastern on Fox.
Free. Call 1-800-234-7090 now.
All right, we are back, and that is the jubilant scene. Everybody seems pretty happy at Trump headquarters, and what we're seeing is movement from the Mar-a-Lago Trump group, including former President Trump, who is in a very good position to be the next president this evening as well, is heading over to the Trump headquarters, where there are a few thousand people who have gathered for this evening. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Obviously, when he shows up there, we will take you there live.
Well, those guys had two Make America Great hats on.
I saw someone with a really large one. Yeah.
As we look now at what we have Pennsylvania. Is this a call, ladies and gentlemen? We are now projecting that Donald J. Trump will win the state of Pennsylvania. Former President Donald J. Trump will win the state of Pennsylvania, and thereby he is on his way to becoming the 47th president of the United States. With this, the path for Vice President Harris has narrowed, and there's really no path going forward. It's vanished. This is historic. Everything was about Pennsylvania. Everything from the beginning was about Pennsylvania. Now, former President Trump will win the state of Pennsylvania, and we can make that call, the 19 electoral votes. That puts him at 267, not officially over the 270, but the path that it takes to get to 270, he is well on his way to becoming the 47th president of the United States in what is going to be the biggest political phoenix from the ashes story that we have ever seen, ever. I mean, I'm going to say it's more than Grover Cleveland in
1892.
Yeah, I don't think that Grover Cleveland was not the subject of a Russia investigation, 2 impeachments, 2 assassination attempts.
Indictments.
They have indictments, 91 indictments, convictions, and there is almost nothing that hasn't been thrown at this former president, and his tenacity in wanting to go back and run again, which he announced immediately after he lost in 2020. This is a huge historic moment in the United States of America as the former President Trump is closing in with just a few electoral votes away now from clinching 270 as Pennsylvania is called for Donald Trump.
We're looking live, 1:21 a.m. in the morning at Trump headquarters. The cheers coming up. We're told the former president is there, as well as J.D. Vance, Senator J.D. Vance. They are getting ready to hear from former President Donald Trump. Again, at 267, not there yet, but looking at where that vote is in Wisconsin, where the vote is in Michigan, where the vote is in Nevada and in Arizona. There is no path, Brit Hume, for Vice President Harris, and just 30,000 feet, what this means.
Well, I'm old enough to remember when Richard Nixon was declared dead in 1962. Remember the famous speech he said, "We don't have Nixon to kick around anymore." No one could imagine after that failed race for governor, he could have come back in 1968 and been elected president. That was a hell of a comeback. This, to my eye, was a man whose face was many more slings and arrows than Nixon had been at that time, hated though he was by the Democrats. This surmounts that. This is an extraordinary comeback.
Dana.
He campaigned so energetically, ruthlessly, fiercely, and with more joy than Kamala Harris. And it was so clear that Joe Biden was not going to be able to go the distance. If Joe Biden were still on the ticket tonight, who knows what tonight might have even looked like, that he has been able to accomplish this, it is nothing short of astonishing and amazing. And also I think about Susie Wiles, who's his campaign manager, very quiet, does not like the limelight. Chris LaCivita, who works on it. All of those people who worked so hard and stuck by Trump, no matter what was said about him, they were called every name in the book, including Hitler and Nazis, and they came through. The other thing that's on my mind is, you know, last night at her closing rally, Oprah Winfrey said that if Donald Trump is elected again, basically you can just write America off, like America's just going to fall apart. That's obviously not true, although I'll be surprised tomorrow if there's a big line at JFK of Hollywood celebrities leaving the country, as I said they were going to. This is the greatest country, and there will be so many opportunities for lots of deal making. I think President Trump will be in the mood, but he also has a huge to-do list. Biden and Harris have left a mess. His closing argument was, she broke it, I will fix it. And she talked about having a to-do list. He's got a big to-do list, but he thrives on it. And you saw that through the whole campaign.
He is, I think, enthusiastic about doing the job of being President Harold, and it is just an absolutely remarkable. I think if you wrote this as a movie script, people would say, this could never happen in the United States of America.
He's a single, I've said this before, he's the single greatest political athlete I've ever seen. And tonight he proved why. There were moments in the campaign where I thought he said some things and did some things that I didn't quite understand, that I thought maybe detracted from that. But tonight obviously proves that too. He also ran a traditional campaign. He connected with voters on issues. He talked about the things that mattered most to voters. And Democrats said he didn't talk about it in the most full-throated way, he didn't talk about it in the most wholesome way, didn't talk about it in the most comprehensive way, but he connected with voters. I would urge my party tonight, if indeed I think he's almost at 270, we'll declare it here shortly once Alaska comes in, don't write off the American people. Let us not be critical of people for voting for President Trump. He did something we didn't do in this campaign. We had to reevaluate, reassess. Mr. Wonderful said it a little earlier, that may give us an opportunity as a party to revamp, and perhaps we should think about that. But don't write off the people, the American people, for the decision they made this evening.
Charlie Hurd, he will be the 47th president of the United States after everything that we saw in this election. It's hard to understand how some in the mainstream media are going to take this, because it was so over the top one way that they thought it was done. There was a landslide prediction from a lot in the media that she was going to have the landslide. It looks like he's going to have the landslide tonight.
Yeah, it's truly remarkable. The revolution rolls on, and this is not just a victory for the White House tonight, but also this is the end of the old Republican Party, which of course Donald Trump took on. That was the first thing that he did. The very first thing that he did in 2015 was take on the old Republican Party. He has completely reshaped the Republican Party. The Republican Party is no longer doesn't stand for a lot of the things that it stood for before. He has made it a far more middle class, working class, a far more practical party, I think probably a far more durable party, and he's figured out how to win with that. And you can't help but think that with this victory, in 4 years from now, he's going to have the mantle that he can hand to the next Republican. So I don't know how Republicans ever go back to the old party that they were. But it is truly extraordinary, and it is all by the force of one guy, one man who had the fortitude, the strength, the vision, the refusal to accept anything, all of the experts counting him out, and he just kept on fighting and fighting and fighting.
Charlie, it would have been one thing for him to come back from a single defeat to be elected again. But when you think about it, he came back from a series of them. I mean, his party lost in the midterm when his
2018.
They lost in 2018. They lost the presidential election in 2020, and they had a major disappointment in 2022. Which one might have thought after all that the party wouldn't turn to him again, and yet in the face of that, plus all the things that Martha enumerated, the indictments, all the other troubles that he had, for him to come back from that is really quite striking.
And think about how toxic he was after, say, January 6th.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at races now in states where Donald Trump very well may drag Republicans, and he's overperforming in a lot of places fellow Republicans.
It really does. I think there are parallels to 1980, Mark Penn. When you look at Jimmy Carter, we had hostages in Iran. We have hostages in Gaza right now. Very high inflation and a malaise in many ways in the country that I think these people who have been called a lot of names have had enough of. What is your impression of what this means tonight?
Well, I think this means a lot to a lot of people. I think the working class are looking for a renewal of American jobs. I think people are looking for a border that is sane and an immigration system that works. I think a lot of people over in the Middle East are looking for Iran to pull back in the face of a president whom they fear. And, look, I think it's going to be incumbent on the Democratic Party to understand that the people have spoken, and to dissemble and dismantle this lawfare system that they have built up here, which is going to raise a whole series of questions that are going to have to be answered now. But they cannot say that they are better than Donald Trump and recreate a system that does not recognize that he won and the people have spoken, and he is going to be the 47th president.
We haven't talked about foreign policy a lot, but imagine the Saudis, making a normalization deal with Israel in the face of a new president here. Imagine Imagine a Ukraine deal that Donald Trump talks about. Kevin O'Leary, what is the market going to do?
You're going to love this. What's happened here is the system self-corrected. When you try and break the American model, it fixes itself. And I think people should give credit within the Democratic Party. Donald Trump saved them tonight, too, because they're going to have to take a spatula to these policies and bring it back to the center over the next 4 years. And in a way, reset. And we talked about this earlier, but he saved entrepreneurship. He saved the entire model of the S&P 500 because taxing 20% higher was a really bad idea, and it self-corrected. Capital, and this is why I'm getting on a plane tomorrow night. I intentionally didn't leave till tomorrow night so I could go to Geneva, go to Abu Dhabi.
stringer?
Yeah. Yes. Or I'm not a stringer, but.
Oh, AP.
Yeah, she's an AP. I mean, with the video, she's a stringer AP. Yeah.
You're the AP stringer.
Okay.
I met somebody who I spoke at a neighborhood association. He said that you were on assignment because he was in Nevada. He lives in my neighbor. He's my neighbor.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you guys a very funny story. So I went to school for journalism and was a print reporter for a long time. And I actually founded the Denver North Star here in town. But back in the day when I was in college in Pennsylvania, I was an AP stringer. And I always joke with people, I was like, that was back when I had a dial-up modem. And they were like, so you would be reporting every 15 minutes, right? And so you would have to sit there and hit like refresh, and then your whole dial-up modem would go through the whole thing. For like, and I was like, this is insane. It's so slow, and we'd be like so freaking out about it. And like, then you'd dial up and go through the whole process again, and there would be nothing there because they didn't used to tell us like when the next result was coming. Like, you just never knew. Like, it was like, figure it out, I guess, and then you just keep doing it all the time. It was also old school, but at the same time, like in some ways, I'm like, have we come that far?
I think the reason they keep getting it wrong is because they still don't understand the average Trump voter. They cannot wrap their heads around why so many people support him. And it's because for a long time, actually for the past decade or so, Democrats in power didn't think they needed to. And even worse, they didn't want to. They didn't want to have to stoop down to understand the concerns over immigration, over the economy. And guess what? The American people sent a very clear message tonight that you better start paying attention, and you better start paying attention soon.
We heard a lot of words, demographic. I don't know how many times we heard it, Steve Hilton, but Gianna, you talk about black voters, black male voters especially. We heard it again and again tonight, and you think it's worth talking about.
I think this is a historic night. Black men will now, those who voted for Trump will be counted as those who helped save America from further decline. I mean, Kamala Harris has tried her best to create these accents like, you better thank a union member, all of these things that she's done to try to appeal to this community, even going on Oprah Winfrey's talk show or whatever that was to say, oh, I'll pull out my gun and shoot someone that tries to come into my house. I mean, this has become nonsensical to the point that I don't know if we're looking at Medea runs for president or not. I mean, this is outstanding what has happened from the black male perspective, and I hope the Republican Party takes note.
Yeah, and you talk about young males and younger voters, Jody Armour. You're a law professor at the University of Southern California. You know what young people are geared into. Are you surprised when you see these voter analysis numbers that young voters came out heavy for Donald Trump?
Yeah, well, young voters can sniff out a fraud. They can sniff out somebody who's chameleon-like. She changes her position according to the prevailing winds. They didn't like that. Many across the country, young students said, for me, a red line also is mass atrocities, is collective punishment, is what I see going on in the Middle East, and I see us as complicit in. So they, were saying, I'm not just that enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get out.
I got 15 seconds for you, Steve.
I just think when I see this unfold, Trace, it is just a massive victory.
Oh, we got to jump back.
Sense.
Sorry, guys, back to you. We got Trump coming out.
Trace, thank you.
You know what young people
The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
The former president's comeback will be complete with a win in Wisconsin, a state that he narrowly lost 4 years ago. He is now the second president. The first was Grover Cleveland in the late 1800s. Senator J.D. Vance will become the 50th vice president of the United States. Voters express deep frustration with the Biden administration, and former President Trump and the future President Trump overperformed in urban areas, particularly with men, proving that the strategy that they doubled and tripled down on over the course of the last few months absolutely succeeded and brought him back to the White House.
47th president of the United States. Former President Trump now defeats Vice President Kamala Harris, who entered this race just over 100 days ago. And for Democrats, they were projecting the possibility of running the table with battleground states. David Plouffe with the Democratic campaign of Harris campaign suggested that just yesterday. Now it is possible that Donald Trump runs the table with these states. and builds on a big landslide electoral win. We don't know where the popular vote is going to finish out, but we do know that he will be going back to the White House, and with him, Brit Hume, will be a lot of changes because he will have been there once and will know what he wants to do.
You know, he often accounts for the fact that he had so much turnover in his first term, in his term as president, by the fact that he didn't really know Washington, and he was new to this realm that he had come to win the presidency in, and he promises us that now he knows whom he wants to hire. Now he knows the kind of people he wants to have around him. A lot of people are saying that means a lot of very experienced people around Washington will be ruled out, and maybe they will. But it's going to be very interesting to see the kind of people he reaches out to and reaches out for in the days and weeks ahead as he builds his administration.
We're joined by Kayleigh McEnany, Trey Gowdy, and Katie Pavlich. Kayleigh, you've been a part of the last administration. You've seen you can see the joy on all these people's faces. Think about the angst and the, all that this campaign has been through. And now there is the prospect of creating what you want to create in a second administration. Your thoughts, 30,000 feet of this win?
Indictments, 2 assassination attempts, an unlikely